Evil West is a third-person action-adventure game with horror elements set in the late 1800s where you play as the cowboy Jesse Rentier in the war of humans against vampires. The game is pretty straightforward with no side quests, and it took me slightly over 12 hours to beat. Story spoilers ahead. The main villain is Felicity, a young vampire girl who inherited a high power among vampires after Jesse killed her father. She seeks to follow her father's plans to win the war. Jesse is son of William Rentier, the founder of the Rentier Institution, a branch of the military that exists to fight supernatural beings. Early in the story, William is infected by Felicity, and Jesse is forced to kill his father, who turns into a vampire. In the end, Jesse kills Felicity, and while the war isn't officially over at the end of the game, the vampire leader is finished and the remnants of the vampire army is weak and scattered, left for the Rentier Institute to hunt down. The game consists of 16 levels, each being about 45 minutes long. The levels are usually very simple in design, with the player usually having a clear-cut path. And on the few more open levels, they're very easy to navigate, and it won't take you long to find your way if you happen to get lost. Throughout the levels, the player can find lore notes, upgrade blueprints, money, known as bucks, and power-ups, such as temporary health boosts. Most upgrades are pretty useful, such as trading basic crossbow bolts and pistol bullets for electric rounds, or having a 5-second invulnerability period after using a healing injection. Discussing combat, I feel Evil West had some slight influence from Shadow of Mordor, but just very slight influences. In most combat situations, I usually used a mix of melee attacks and quickfire gadgets while I dodged around the combat area. On normal difficulty, especially without many upgrades, it's pretty easy to die, so you have to constantly stay on your toes in a fight. Most combat encounters consisted of a mix of 1 to 3 mini-bosses and cannon fodder enemies, or popcorn enemies if you prefer. Enemies that by themselves aren't much of a threat, but in large numbers mixed with a boss prove threatening. As far as the bosses, William Rentier was the most challenging to me. I suffered 5 deaths by him. Surprisingly, Felicity, the final boss, was the easiest and the only boss that didn't kill me even once, although it was pretty close towards the end. The game has a level up system, and the player earns XP by defeating enemies and is granted a perk point with every level. I honestly only found a few of the perks useful, and after a certain point, I only bought new perks because I just had perk points to spend. Upgrades, on the other hand, were much more useful, and almost every gadget upgrade served a purpose, such as having a frontal shield while wielding the Gatling gun, or being able to create an electric tornado after throwing an explosive. The game does also have a New Game Plus and a multiplayer, neither of which I bothered with. Apparently some people have had issues with the multiplayer, so please keep that in mind if that's the reason you're buying it. Overall, I give this game an 8.1 out of 10. I paid about $22 for it on sale, and I would not suggest paying more than that for Evil West. Well, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed watching. Jesus loves you, and I hope you have a great day. If you have any comments, feel free to put them down in the comments. If you enjoyed, a like would be appreciated. Again, Jesus loves you. Thanks for watching. Peace out.